If you saw that in a hiring situation, you would not hire them. Hello, and welcome to another How to CEO show. I'm your host, Murray Newlands with Issaplease.
Hi everyone, it's me. Hi Mary, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm great. I have a question for you.
Okay.
Do you like movies?
Yes.
What kind of movies?
Action movies.
Action movies. Okay, so today it's really interesting because a brand new movie trailer came out from the
Awesome.
Marvel series, and I wanted to
Okay.
show it to you and get your
Love it.
reaction of it.
Great. Look forward to it.
Okay, are you a fan of the Marvel series?
Yes.
You
Big fan.
are. Okay. Dare I ask, do you like Marvel or DC more? Like, do you have a preference?
No, I'm a fan of both generally.
You're a fan of both. Okay. Next question before you start, because the show is called How to CEO. I
Okay.
am curious, do you think that you can apply like your being a CEO to like critiquing or reacting to movie trailers?
I will try and give a business perspective on the movie trailers.
That's what I would not talk about, especially with the Marvel series. So yeah.
Okay.
Anyways, this
Let's
is my
try.
first time to watch the video too, so I guess this is both our reactions.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay, so I'm gonna play the video for you. For us,
Okay.
actually. Are you ready?
Yep. Right.
So, who would like to start? Why does Sam aggravate you?
15 seconds to drop. So what's our plan?
So that sounds like you have two employees who you're trying to get on a project and they just don't work together.
You know, I always forget that like they are superheroes, but then these are still like people who are
Right?
technically working together. It's still their job.
First was they were sitting down with their boss, I think, and the boss was trying to tell them, hey, work together. What went wrong? It was a disaster.
Have you ever had like an employee or have you ever had to work with someone like that?
The thing is, you need to get people who work together in a team, and if they don't work together in a team, then normally it's a disaster. And after 2 or 3 times you're doing that kind of thing together, no one wants to work with them. So yeah, you just have to give them projects on their own.
Do you do this if they're like exceptional employees that just don't work well with others?
So you can work with exceptional employees who don't work well with others, but you need to make sure that one, their manager is good at managing people who don't work well with others. And two, you make sure that they just work on projects on their own and don't disrupt the rest of the company.
If someone came up to you and said, I want a job, and you ask them, what are
I'm not
your
so good at it.
weaknesses?
Yeah.
And they say, I'm not a team player. How would you feel about it?
Okay. That is a massive red flag. If they say they're not a team player, that's a massive red flag because you know that they're going to cause problems. And then imagine if you hire someone and they tell you they're not a team player and they say to everyone, I told people I wasn't a team player, then other people in the company can complain about them and really complain about you as a manager for hiring someone who's terrible to work with. So you open yourself up to all kinds of liabilities by hiring someone who tells you that they're not a team player.
I personally sort of admit that I'm not really great with working with others. I can work with like a partner, but not with like a whole team. Otherwise, it would stress me out. And so I know my weakness. So I
I
work.
would say you need to focus on learning to be better at working with other people.
I, I know.
Okay, so let's see
So
the rest of it.
let's watch the rest of it. Okay, share screen.
That wasn't so hard.
Are you ready? Is you ready? Ready?
Okay.
You say you ready?
What are you doing?
Whole squad ready? Ready?
Are you having a staring contest?
Are you ready? Ready? Is you ready?
Just blink. Sweet Jesus. I mean, how old are you?
That was good.
It does look good. If you saw that in a hiring situation, you would not hire them.
Right off the bat, I'd be like, they don't have chemistry. This might be really hard.
Right.
So what we just saw was the trailer for the up and coming movie, The Falcon and the Winter Soldier. And that was the second trailer that they released. And since releasing it yesterday, it's already garnered around 200,000 views. So let's say this was like a corporate setup with two people with completely different personalities, but great workers, employees individually. But you just really needed them to work on this one project together. It
Okay.
it like this is like a really big client, and you just really need your biggest brains to come together. How would it work out? What would you do?
Mm. I think you need to get them to understand how important it is to you and to them that it's a success, because they're both obviously super individual, super strong characters, and they need to come together for that moment. But also, you need to absolutely manage to make sure that as points of conflict arise, you're there to keep reminding them that they need to get through this project and move through it.
It sounds like a lot of micromanaging done.
Sounds like a lot of work, and as a manager, you'd have to balance that. Is it worth the risk?
Has this ever happened to you like before?
Oh, definitely. I've worked with people who've been managed people who've been super hard to work with. Sometimes on the sales side, some people who are great at sales, great at business development, and the only thing to do was to manage them myself and to get them to work as an individual contributor and have least interaction with the rest of the team. And
Okay.
when they had to interact with the rest of the team, be really specific as to what the deliverables were, how those deliverables were to be given, and to speak to the person who was accepting the deliverables. Like, their job was to receive those deliverables, but not to manage if it went wrong, and if they had any challenges, they were to bring those challenges to me straight away, so that they weren't the one having to deal with the challenges.
What do you think about adding incentives to situations like this? Like, you would probably tell them, like, if you guys just keep it together and we get through this, there's a big fat cookie at the end of this. Do you think like
I,
awarding or giving incentives work in certain situations?
So I think you have to think about how you're going to give incentives in different situations. I think if you're dealing with someone like that, the only reason to work with someone like that is because the rewards would be significant to the company. And so probably like someone who you're going to have to give that kind of reward to in order to get them to focus on the goal, which is the deliverable.
Mhm.
On the other hand, that also sets up challenges with if you provide that level of incentive to that person, and you have other people in similar roles, then why are they not getting that incentive, and why are they allowed to get away with that behavior, which is so um, destructive? So
Yeah, yeah.
it sets up all kinds of challenges beyond the challenge of just dealing with that one individual.
I have another question about this whole video that we just watched and what you think of the whole Marvel franchise as a whole.
I think they have a formula for what works, and they just keep repeating that formula. Um, there's definitely a formula to their stories, there's a formula to the characters. They found out what their audience wants, and they
Mhm.
just keep selling them the same thing with slightly different packaging.
That's true. I can just imagine the income that they make off the trailers alone because they add so many tiny details that make you want to rewatch it over and over and over again. It's never a trailer that you just watch once.
And the product placement in those trailers, and the product placement in the films, and all the business partnerships, it's definitely a money-making machine. And we love the product.
I
So
know.
congratulations to them.
You know who's the real superhero here?
Ooh.
The businessman behind it all, thinking of all these ideas. They're the real superheroes behind all of this.
Just don't tell the fans.
Are you excited to watch the movie?
I'm very excited. Are you?
I am super excited. I just wonder where it's coming out since we can't watch it in like movie theaters.
Interesting.
That's also another business scheme for them, how they're able to produce a movie and make money out of it in the pandemic. I think that's a topic for another day.
I think so. If you've been watching this, what do you think of the characters? If they're your work colleagues, we'd love to know. If you think one of these people represents your work colleagues, make a comment below. Or if you ever worked with someone who's like that, who's just impossible to work with, and why didn't they get fired? Or did they get fired, and how did they get fired? Why did they get fired? We'd love to know.
I know, I'd love to hear all about it in the comment section below. So make sure to share your stories and maybe tag them too. Share this video with them and be like, hey, remember that time? Reminds me of you.
I'm Murray Newlands. You've been listening to the How to CEO show with Issaplease.
Bye, everyone. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please don't forget to like, subscribe, share this video, and hit the notification bell. We'll catch you in the next How to CEO video. Bye.
See you next time.
For more episodes on how you can become your own CEO, make sure to like this video, subscribe, and hit that notification button. For easy listening on the go, catch the Murray Newlands Show on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and other streaming platforms. We'll catch you on the next episode.